What's going on, guys? How you doing? Andrew, Ginger, Optimist, Guggen. Good job holding those puts, Ginger. Hopefully you got rid of them on the dip though. So let's just get right into it. Obviously, very bullish day, absolutely, after yesterday and Friday's dump off. Like I said, we were expecting a little move like October or September and October here. We got a big gap down after the OPEX. OPEX held 50-day on September 17th. And then the next day we put in a bottom for the market. We bounced, but we did not get back to all-time highs. So that's what we were talking about yesterday on post market if you attended, and we're looks like we're getting the exact same scenario here. So last time OPEX bottomed 50-day, next day gapped below it, and that's at the low for the market. Then we bounced for 4 days. 4 day bounce, we did not get back to all-time highs, and then we rolled over and put in lower lows. If it's the exact same type of pattern for right now, it looks like it is. What's up, Ricky? How you doing? Guggen? And if we don't get back to all-time highs, the same pattern might play out here. So we're expecting right now, if we get the same pattern, 4 day bounce, and then we roll over and lose lows. But let's play it day to day. Today, obviously, very, very bullish day. I mean, SPY's up 1.77%. That's not a normal day. What's up, Andrew? And for right now, everything looks good. One thing I did take note of today is the volume. SPY volume was very low comparatively to the last couple weeks at least. Is this capitulation? So remember what I taught you guys, when there's a bottom being formed, there's usually a huge amount of volume coming in. Like you guys seen here during this bottom that was forming, huge volume coming in, and then when the volume dried off is when we started melting up. So is the same thing happening here? It's very, very possible. Just pay attention to that September. Don't get too bullish. Obviously, for short term, this action today was very, very bullish. So this week we should get a little uptick in the markets, but let's see what happens. And don't just start buying, putting your whole account in January or leaps or anything yet, in my opinion, because it is perfectly possible we bounce for 3-4 days and then roll over and form newer lows, just like happened back in September, October. So let's see what happens tomorrow and just play it day by day. QQQ just absolutely parabolic today. If you look at the chart, it kept leaving my screen. This dump this morning was kind of scary. I don't know what really happened. It looks like they were just trying to shake out anyone that was left bullish from yesterday's close. They shook them out and then just absolutely went on a tear. No real news, no real nothing. I mean, nothing really positive other than Biden not putting the country on lockdown. That's good for the economy. Other than that, I don't really see anything too bullish. QQQ up 2.24% today, so obviously the strongest sector out of what we watch index-wise. And right now, QQQ, there's nothing changed about this chart, in my opinion. We're just kind of range-bound right now. Where 399 is the top and 378 is the bottom, so it's just kind of range bound right now. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Obviously very, very bullish today. If they don't turn it around tomorrow, we should have continuation for the rest of the week, and let's see what tomorrow brings us. XLF also started the day strong. Jesus, started the day pretty strong. Still under this big bull flag here. Let's fix that line a little bit. So right now everything is bullish. There's not really much standing in the way. I mean, the 50-day is almost at this line here. So if XLF continues bouncing, I think around 39.50-ish is when we start getting cautious again. But other than that, everything looks great. Looks like we defended the 200-day, came up. Everything looks fine. And one that you should keep an eye on for XLF. I did jump in calls today. I did get rid of them as well just because of that morning little flush there. GS just crossed back over the 200-day, and the 200-day is at 374.67. Today we retested it, and we just kept going on. Yeah, I can go over AMD in a bit. For Goldman Sachs right now, so what I told you guys was when a strong stock crosses over the 200-day to the downside, when it reclaims it, usually it gets a lot of buying. Obviously, not a lot of volume here today. That's one of the things that's why I took out my calls for like a tiny gain, because I didn't really want to hold them. But other than that, I mean, GS is poised just to start making an earnings run back to these highs of 380, 398, 400-ish. So GS is prime for a move to 400 here. Just gonna keep watching it, see if we get a re-entry there. IWM also another ripper today. This one, when the market does bounce, I told you guys IWM will be one of the strongest just because of how beat up it is, the bullish divergence on the RSI. Today was a strong start, 2.86% on this index, even better than tech. So keep an eye on IWM. If the market does rally, IWM can move the most. It usually moves the most. So if you guys go back to that September 17th that I was talking about earlier, where the market put in a low, right here, September 20th, the day after September 17th, it put in a low. And look at IWM's run of like 6 days straight up, whereas SPY only ran 4 days up before the bounce ended, right? So just pay attention to IWM. If you are bullish into the end of the year, I think IWM calls would be smart. The VIX here, VIX not really doing nothing, just kind of moving sideways now, compressing. It did make a little pop yesterday, came right back down into this little range here. So again, when the VIX does make a big pop and then comes down, it just compresses for its next move. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it takes a month. You don't know how long it's going to take, right? So it's just compressing now. Do we get a move higher or does it break down? If it gets under 20 bucks, like I always say, if it's under 20 bucks, volatility is low. That's when the market starts melting up, like you guys seen back here. In October, November, the VIX was low and the market was rallying. So we need the VIX under 20 bucks for any sustained rally into next year. But for right now, it does look good. It is coming down. And let's see what it brings tomorrow. GS, we already went over. ES, we got a bunch of levels here. I've had these levels for so long. The levels that I have on ES are very, very simple. Nothing very complicated. We have 4,500. We have 4,520, 4,550, 4,600, 4,630, 4,650, and 4,700. So just keep an eye on those levels. Other than that, nothing much. We already went over SPY and what I think happens. Bitcoin's trying to break out of this little falling wedge here. We are still above it. There's still almost 3 hours till this daily candle closes on Bitcoin. If we close above this wedge, which would be around above 48,000, you could say anything above 48,000 Bitcoin, it turns bullish here. It does have bullish divergence on the RSI as well, as just like IWM, just like Snapchat. And we need that close above this wedge to see follow through on Bitcoin. The next level up would be 49750, which is a 21-day moving average. SE, complete killer today. Okay, so yesterday at close, I told you guys 2 stocks that I wanted for an overnight bounce. I said SE and Dawkin. We took SE 220s last night at around 3. And they opened up around 6. I was happy with that. I didn't know where the market was going. If you guys seen the indexes in the morning, SPY was just absolutely just going lower lows, lower highs. So we sold those for a good amount. I mean, we got a good return on them. They're over 6. But those calls went over, I think, 11 bucks today. So if you held, congratulations. You would have had like 300, 400%. Boogie jumped in SE even after. So that just shows you if a stock is showing strength, it doesn't mean you get out and you can't get back in. I definitely should have rolled the calls. I was watching other stuff. I made a mistake myself today on SPY puts. I tried to take SPY puts when it looked this strong. I had it written down in my book somewhere. I didn't see it. When SPY is that strong, I should not play puts. It's like stepping in front of a train. Managed it. I mean, I had a 160 average. So I'll just go into the management of the trade just in case you guys are ever caught in this situation, because you'll make mistakes. It doesn't matter how experienced a trader are, how good a trader you are. I bought them for 160. SPY kept ripping. I just waited, watched my P&L go redder and redder. And then I seen a little reversal sign at the top. I added more at 111. So I was way too heavy in them. So I had to watch the trade every tick. I sold those 111s at around 117, 118. And that put my average down to 130. So now I'm in my original position with an average of 130. They went up to 120, 121, and then SPY started showing strength again. I sold them all. I took the L, but it wasn't a catastrophic L, which it would have been if I just held on and been I can't even think right now. Been stubborn with the position. But yeah, so that's how I managed that trade. Obviously still an L. And just make a mental note of it that you don't step in front of trains anymore. So SPY, that was my mismanagement. But SE, if I rolled those, I know Boogie and a bunch of other people got those SE even at a higher level. Why did they do it? It was breaking level after level. It was showing strength. Volume was coming in. It kept going up. Congratulations to you guys. Great call by Boogie. And I think SE could have a lot of bounce left in it. You guys know how I feel about this stock. It's one of my favorite stocks in the market. Just because the price comes down, that doesn't change how I feel about the stock. I still think it's Amazon in 2013. I still think this is a $1,000 stock within 5 years. And I will definitely be in calls again. I still have all my equity. Well, not all, I did trim some. But anyways, moving on. Let's go to Walmart here. I took some Walmart calls. Why did I take Walmart calls? I had a level here from yesterday, the 139.75. I had an alert set on it. It broke it today. Obviously, we closed below it, but Walmart does look set up here. So if you guys know Christmas rally, it usually rallies everything. Pre-market high on Walmart was 140.05. So if Walmart gets over 140.05, I think this time it goes straight to 152. It's setting up just like how I drew it yesterday on the post market. I know it's a bunch of squiggly, ugly lines. But what's happening here on Walmart is we went back down, we tested 135, we hit those 3 roll-ups, then we sold almost right at the top, right? So what I wanted it to do was I wanted it to pull back and form a higher low. So that's exactly what it did. It put in a low, it put in a higher low, and now if the trend is changed in favor of the bulls, it has to go and take out this 146.47. So that's what I'm expecting on Walmart. If this trend change is real, we need to go up and take out this high of 146.53, sorry. Yeah, 146.53 is the high. So if we take that out, it's putting in a higher low and a higher high. So let's see what happens on Walmart. Right now, it looks decent. Strong little candle today, closing near the high of the day. Big lower wick of people buying. Obviously, again, low volume across the board today. It is a short week, which means there's not as much volume coming in. What's going on? Dreon, Turkey, Phil. Yeah, SE calls went over 13. We were in them for 3 yesterday, if you guys remember. SE daily RSI oversold. Yeah, exactly. So on SE, one thing Turkey mentioned is when these bounces take place, there's a lot of room for it to work. What does he mean by that? Even the weekly just started, almost got oversold. Almost oversold on the weekly on RSI, on SE, and we're just starting to bounce. So if this bounce is real and this stock is strong, as you guys know, even the daily just now got not oversold on the RSI. So if it does bounce, there's a lot of room to the upside. The next level up for SE, if this bounce is real, it can even bounce to 263, guys. So I will definitely be playing options on this again. If the market does rally into the year end, SE is one of my favorite plays, and you guys know I'll hit it again. Uber here. Uber, very strong day. Even when the market was dumping this morning, Uber was flying. Our $40 calls didn't get that much movement. I know some of you guys held on and sold for 50, 60% or whatever. But just on that move alone this morning, we should have had 100% on those calls. So the premium was moving weird. I cut the 42.5s for like 30%, and I rolled into the $45 calls for Jan 21st just to see if we get better premium movement. And those are already up like 20% as well, I believe. And right now, Uber just looks super powerful. Again, it's the same story. This is what you should expect on SE right here. So you guys see how it got super oversold on the daily right here. And then we had a little bounce just to cool off the RSI, came right back down, and then it started ripping. That could be the exact same scenario that's happening on SE. That's why we're still playing counter trend. That's something you have to remember. If you were a newer trader, you loved SE as much as me, you'd probably just take February SE 250 calls and just load the boat. And what'll happen that way, they'll probably pull it back a little bit before letting it actually bounce to get you out of there. So just pay attention to SE. We'll definitely hit it again. I'm not worried about it. Great day. We made our gains this morning before most people got out of bed. So, I mean, we'll be back in it. Uber right now, I do think we have a move up to 45 possible. If we get through this 50-day moving average at 42.64, I think we have a move to the top of this channel at least, if not break that top of the channel, which would put us around $45. Let's see where that one goes. Merck, they had news today. The FDA is supposed to approve their COVID pill this week. So I jumped in some Lotto 7750s for December 31st. And it does look kind of like a bull flag. So it kind of bottomed out, put in a higher low. Now is it putting in another higher low? And if it goes and takes out the 77.74, I think it moves straight to $80. And there is gaps to fill all the way up to $81 on Merck. So let's see if we get that COVID pill approval and we wake up to another 600% play. Last time I played Merck, we got 600% overnight. So let's see what happens. Airbnb, strong day at the beginning. After Biden, it kind of cooled off. This one has a lot of room to go. I'm telling you, this Airbnb is loved by a lot of investors. If you guys are long-term investors, I don't even mind equity at these levels. I think in 2-3 years, you'll be kicking yourself for not buying equity at these levels. Again, you could have got it for 151, and now it's trading for 160. It traded for 166 today. So you would have already been up $15 on equity alone. When you're buying these long-term equities on companies you love, sometimes you just have to. Sometimes when you feel like puking, that's when you should buy and just leave it there. So Airbnb looks great for continuation. Obviously the NASDAQ ad, there's a lot of room to the upside here. To the downside, I do not want to see it take out these previous lows. 149.50, I don't want to see it ever go back down there. There is some support here. Obviously we went below it, so we need to get through all this demand here, which we did today in all in one candle. So what we're watching for from the previous lows, we have the anchored VWAP just ahead too. And if it gets over there, that's exactly where it rejected if you see today. Rejected right at that anchored VWAP from the previous low. So the next level up, if it gets over this anchored VWAP, is not till the 21-day moving average, which is 172. So Airbnb can be primed for a move through 172 if it gets through today's high. So keep an eye on that one. Doc and I jumped in calls at the end of the day here. I jumped in like right here. Why did I jump in? First of all, stochastics are low. RSI was getting down there. Dawkins a super strong stock. It actually led yesterday. So if you guys were watching SE and Dawkins yesterday, Dawkins was stronger. Today, Dawkins was stronger. It's up 11%. SE was up 10.82, pretty close. But yesterday, SE was only up 3%. Okay, my argument's not going to work here. Yeah. So Dawkins yesterday, I was watching it. The price action was better than SE. Basically, maybe SE made it up at the end of the day or this morning, or maybe a gap down a lot more than Dawkins. But this one showed strength. It finally closed over the 8-day moving average. SE did as well. So these two I just put in a bunch together. These are two of my favorite growth companies. When they bounce, I'm sure both of them will bounce. Dawkins, we took the $90 calls for 360 right like 3 or 4 minutes before close, and they're already at 410, guys. So this one has a lot of room. It's the same type of play as SE. It's very oversold. The stochastics are just starting to wake up here. So if the bounce is real, we can get a real move, and this one should go to at least 87 bucks on this bounce if we get continuation tomorrow. I'll go over MELI and then I'll go over your guys' plays. MELI looks absolutely fantastic. I've been pointing it out for weeks. It's been stronger than the rest of the market for a while. And again, it put in the low, it put in a higher low. If this is the higher low now, we have to go take out 1260, and then it makes its move to 1300. Same type of play, way oversold on the RSI. Stochastics just starting to curl up. So if SE and Dawkins follow MELI like it did right here, you see the stochastics just starting to curl up. That means momentum is shifting to the upside. Now MELI is almost at the top, whereas SE and Dawkins are not even close. They're still oversold here. So if we get that same type of bounce on MELI, it should be good for a quick move up. Other than that, I do like MELI. I was trying to get 1300 calls for next week. It wouldn't fill me. The spread was really, really wide today. I think someone asked AMD, yeah. So AMD, chips, AMD, Nvidia, ASML, MU, TSM, all of them, they moved together. MU had huge earnings yesterday. As you guys know, they said the demand is still there, even if the supply is starting to get resolved, but the demand is still there for all the chips. That moved all the chips today. So MU, huge gap up to 10.4% move, and this looks like a power earnings gap up. So as long as MU protects this gap down here, this gap up, as long as MU stays above here, it has a real chance to just keep going up. And as long as MU keeps going up, the rest of the sector will also go up. Other than that, AMD is just protecting the 50-day moving average right here, obviously just going alongside it. And right now would actually be a pretty good time to enter AMD, in my opinion, just because we're holding the 50-day. And as long as we continue to hold above the 50-day, this is still bullish. On the daily, obviously it consolidated a lot, but if you scroll out to the weekly, this is just a weekly bull flag, guys. So huge weekly move, 4 weeks consolidation, and now do we break up and go to all-time highs? That's possible. Nvidia is, I'm sure, is almost exact same chart. Yeah. So same thing on the weekly, huge move, bull flag, and now do we break up? On the daily, it even looks even better. Actually, it closed below the 50-day yesterday, but it reclaimed it today. So Nvidia, I don't really have an entry unless you want to enter above 21-day moving average at 296. Above 296, it can move to 325. But other than that, AMD, yeah, AMD closed below the 50-day yesterday as well. So very similar charts, very similar plays. Chips, if the market's strong, chips should go. Other than that, they had enough consolidation after huge runs. LRCX strong today as well. It has solid support as 666. It's a previous support here. I got the line drawn. 666 was a solid support. Today we went down. We tested 665 and bounced hard. Closed above the 8-day moving average. Everything looks better on LRCX actually than AMD and Nvidia. Actually, no. AMD's above it all as well, and Nvidia as well. All the chips look the same, man. They're all the same plays. Pick Nvidia still underneath the 21 day, but the AMD and LRCX look better. AMD 145 calls on the dip. Yeah, they should work, man. You should be up quite a bit. AMD did show some strength at the end of the day there. So if you got on the dip, you should be up already. And it does look good for continuation, especially after a 6% move up on nice volume. Yesterday was a red day with little volume. So if we, and the stochastics are just starting to curl up as well, as you guys see down here. So a lot of these stocks are set up for big runs. Just don't get too greedy, because again, I'll go over the SPY scenario. It could be the same play from September, October, guys. It could be a 3-4 day bounce, and then we make lower lows. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're going super heavy and farther out on these plays. Other than that, it was a very, very bullish day, and I do expect follow through tomorrow. Snow here. If you zoom out on snow on the weekly, it looks like cup and handle. Huge cup, handle, and now it's ready for breakout. But again, if you're playing snow based on this weekly cup and handle, you have to give yourself enough time for that to play out. You have to go at least a month or two out. On the daily, it looks like it was just rejected at the cup resistance, came down, bear flagged, broke, and now is this another bear flag, or do we reclaim? If we backtest this little line here that I have drawn, this is the bear flag breakdown. If we retest it at around, well, tomorrow it'll be around 364-ish. If we retest 364 and reject it, this one can make lower lows. If we go back through this trend line, I think we can make our way back up to all-time highs around 400 bucks. But, or 405 even. Wow, I didn't know snow went to 405. But it's all about this backtest for me. If it rejects this backtest, a short might work. If we go through the backtest, then calls will work. But for right now, snow is a very tough play for me. We did close above the moving averages. But yeah, we just have to keep watching, see if we get continuation tomorrow, see if they completely flip the market over like they have been. You guys have seen it. It's been one day rip, or the next day complete dip, and then just it's always been the same. It's short the rips, buy the dips. Like, let's see what happens if we actually get some kind of market direction here into the end of the year, because if everything just rips for the next few days, then obviously it's most likely going to be a Christmas rally. It's going to go right into the end of the year. But let's see where we are tomorrow if we get continuation, and stay safe out there, just in case that SPY September